Elizondo, Assistant Prosecutor.
Good morning, Your Honor. Danielle Bennett, Assistant Prosecutor.
On behalf of Mr. Pugh?
And yes, what is that?
On behalf of Mr.
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court, Delphia Burton appearing on behalf of Mr. Pugh, who's not present.
All right, we'll give the deputies a minute to bring them up.
And we are ready to proceed, Judge. We're just waiting for the witness to come down from upstairs.
And Mr. Pugh is charged with 3 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the first degree and 3 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the 3rd degree. And are the people ready to proceed?
We are, Judge, as soon as our witnesses are from the upstairs.
As soon as what?
Our witnesses were upstairs. I think the elevators are running really slow. They're on their way down. We should be ready to go.
All the time. All right.
And we're also ready to proceed. We move to the question of the witnesses.
Mutual sequestration order is in effect with an exception for the officer in charge of the case. And
That would be Sergeant Ortiz. I have actually co-officers in charge. One also is Investigator Muscat, Ken Muscat from the prosecutor's office.
Mr. Elizondo?
Yes, ma'am.
Speak a lot louder.
Okay.
Thank you.
And other than that, Judge, we've sequestered all of our other witnesses.
Are there any stipulations for the record?
No.
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ready.
Right now. We ready for this?
Yeah.
Hi, may I have your name, please?
Austin, A-U-S,
A-U-S.
T-I-N,
T-I-N.
Williams, W-I-L-L-I-A.
Thank you.
Sir, do you swear to affirm the testimony you give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed. Proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
The microphone's right here. Please hold it close to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Can you introduce yourself to the judge, please?
Good morning. My name is Austin Williams.
All right. And Mr. Williams, I'm going to be asking you some questions today, and probably counsel over here to my right. We just ask you to speak up.
Okay.
Okay. Use words. We can't use for yes or no. Use words. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. All right. Now, sir, can you tell us first of all, how old are you today?
Today I'm 27 years old.
All right. And what's your birthday, sir?
My birthday is September 28th, born in 1988.
Okay. Now, I'm going to be taking you back in time a little bit, well, actually quite a bit, and ask you to answer some questions concerning things that, you know, may or may not have occurred back then. All right?
Okay.
If you don't understand my question, just let me know, and I'll rephrase it, and we'll move from there. All right?
Okay.
All right. Now, I'm going to take you back to September 28th of 2002 and ask you, how old would you have been at that point?
I would have been 14 years old.
All right. And at that point in time, sir, were you going to school?
I was.
Okay. And what grade were you in?
I was a 9th grader at Martin Luther King Junior Senior High School.
Okay. Now, during your school year that year, did you have any extracurricular activities that you were involved in?
Yes. Along with being part of JROTC, I was a singer with the Mosaic Youth Theater of Detroit. That was my first year.
Okay. This Mosaic group, tell us a little bit about that.
Mosaic Youth Theater of Detroit has been around for about 20 years now. They work with inner city youth, outer city youth to do performances. They teach performing arts. They teach music, acting and technical theater to children between 14 and 18 years old.
Okay. And how old were you when you first joined the group?
I was 14 when I first joined.
All right. Now, when you're part of this Mosaic group, do they do performances?
Yes, we performed all across the city. We performed across the state. We performed across the country that year. We took a college tour trip all through the South and to the East Coast.
All right. Now I'm going to take you to March of 2003 and ask you at that point, were you part of the Mosaic group?
Yes, I was.
All right. And in March of 2003, did you have, or did the group have a particular performance that they were going to be involved in?
Yes. In March, this was after our college tour. We had our year-end concert coming up, and we went to Fox 2 Detroit to promote it on the show.
Okay. And when you say we, how many people went to for this? Approximately, I know it's been a long time, but
it was approximately about 10 of us, 10 or 12 of us.
okay. And at that time, well, did you go?
Yes,
For
I
this?
did.
All right. And was there any kind of uniform or costume or anything that was worn for these performances?
Yes, we wore a Mosaic T-shirt that had the logo on it, and black pants, black shoes.
Okay. Now, March of 2003, you were how old at this point?
I was still 14 years old.
Okay. So how many had you it's been marked as people proposing exhibit number 1? Ask me to look at this. Do you recognize what that is, sir?
Yes, that's a picture of me when I was 14 years old.
Okay. And specifically there, are you wearing anything in particular?
I'm wearing one of our T-shirts from that year. That year we did a play that was written by Mosaic students called Reality.
Does this picture accurately reflect what you looked like when you were back there when you were 14?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, we're going to move for the admission of people's proposed exhibit number 1.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Now, how are you feeling when you went over to the station to do this performance?
I was excited.
Okay.
I might have got to be on the news, so it was fun.
Okay. Now, while you were there, did anything occur out of the ordinary?
Well, when we were in the green room, and Mr. Charles Pugh came to greet us in the green room. He greeted everyone.
Okay. And did you get an opportunity to meet Mr. Pugh at that point?
Yes. At that point, I introduced myself, and I told him that I was a fan, and I was wondering if he had any intern opportunities, or if Fox 2 had any internship opportunities that I'd be able to take a part of.
All right. Now, the person that you met in the green room, and then you referred to as Mr. Pugh, is that person in the courtroom today?
Yes, he is.
Can you just point to where that person is and tell us what they're wearing?
Mr. Pugh is wearing a green jumpsuit with a purple pocket on it.
Okay. Your Honor, may the record reflect that witness is pointing to and identifying the defendant, Mr. Pugh? Thank you. Now, you said that he went in there and greeted everyone. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And is it fair to say, based on what you just told us, you stepped out and essentially spoke with him?
Correct.
Okay. And the need...
I didn't step away from everyone. I spoke with him in the green room in front of everyone else.
Okay. And you indicated that there were some specific things that you asked him. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And those revolved around what?
Working and internship opportunities.
Okay. Well, now, you're 14. What are you thinking at this point?
I'm thinking it would be really cool if I was able to get a job at Fox 2. I'm thinking it would be really cool to be able to be an intern for Charles Pugh.
Now, had you, prior to this day, had you known who Charles Pugh was?
From seeing him on the news, yes.
Okay. Now, after you say those things to Mr. Pugh, does he respond to you in any way?
Yes, he he smiles at me, and he gives me his card, and he says, give me a call, and, you know, we can talk about it.
Okay. Did you take his card?
I did.
All right. Now, was there any more interaction with Mr. Pugh that day?
Personal interaction, no. We saw him when he introduced us on the newscast.
Objection as to we, he can only testify to what he saw.
Objections overruled.
Thank you. Go ahead.
At the, when he introduced the group on the show, that's when I saw him. After that, no, I did not have any personal interaction with him after that.
Okay. Now, you leave the station. What information did you have concerning Mr. Pugh on that card?
I had his cell phone number that he had written on the back, and I had his business office. It was his business card, his Fox 2 business
Okay.
card.
Now, you said you had a cell phone. Did he write that number on the back while you were, before he gave it to you, or was it already on there?
He wrote it on the back when I asked him for it.
Okay. Now, you left the station. When is the next time, if ever, that you have any contact with Mr. Pugh?
I have contact with him through a few text messages. We played phone tag back and forth, but we never spoke until April of that month. He came out to the reality show to see the play, and we spoke after the show.
Okay. Now, how much time has passed between that first interaction with him and this reality show that you're talking about?
About a month and a half.
Okay. And during that time, you said there were no actual interactions, conversation or anything, just messages and that sort of thing?
Correct.
Okay. Now, the play, where is the play being held?
The play was held in Ann Arbor.
Okay. And was Fox 2 covering that play that night, if you know?
No, they weren't. He was not there in a Fox 2 capacity, from my observation.
All right. Did he come to the group, or did he interact with the group at that performance?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Did he interact with you that night?
Yes, he did. After the show was over, he stayed and spoke with many different people. And when I saw him, I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, how are you?" We spoke. He smiled. I asked him if he remembered us talking about the internship, and he said yes. And he told me to give him another call, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay. Now, this is in May of 2003, correct?
This is about April.
April of 2003. Okay. You're still 14?
Yes.
Okay. Now, after the meet there at in the Ann Arbor for the reality show, when's the next time you actually have contact with Mr. Pugh?
After that, I reached back out to Mr. Pugh, and we spoke on the phone. We spoke on the phone about me working for him, about me meeting up with him to do jobs, and be his assistant, be his intern.
Okay. And that those things that you just told us, were those via phone calls with Mr. Pugh?
Those were via phone calls, yes.
Okay. What were you thinking at that point?
I was excited. I had an opportunity to do something different, to put something on my resume that would help me get into school a whole lot quicker, that might push me a little bit higher on the list.
Okay. Now, after that phone call, does there come a time when you do meet with Mr. Pugh?
Yes, the first time that I meet with Mr. Pugh is when he comes to my house to pick me up, and he meets myself and my mother.
Okay. And this would have been in what month, if you recall?
This would have been, this was for an assignment in the summer, during the Martin Luther King walk, the 40th anniversary. June, I believe.
Okay.
May or June
Of 2003?
of 2003.
All right. And you said that Mr. Pugh came over to your house. Had Mr. Pugh said anything to you about meeting your mother or anything along those lines?
Yes, he made sure that that he spoke to her in order to get her permission for me to work with him.
Okay. Is that what he told you, the reason for the calls, or was there some other?
That the reason for him to speak with her, yes, was so that he could get her permission.
Okay. And did you speak with your mother about
Yes.
at this point in time, about what was going on?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I let her know that I had an opportunity to work for Mr. Pugh, that I had that I really wanted to do the internship, and that he wanted to speak with her to make sure that she was okay with it.
Okay. And if you know, did Mr. Pugh contact your mother?
I was talking to Mr. Pugh about it, and my mother had come home, and so I had made sure that they had that contact.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, did your mother agree to allow you to do this?
After speaking with Mr. Pugh, yes.
Okay. Now, this is June of 2003, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Still 14?
Still 14.
All right. After it's cleared with your mom, does he come over to your house to get you?
Yes, he does.
Okay. And is this the same day that he's talking to her, or is there a period of time where he talks to her and then?
No, there's a period of time, about a week, because he knew about the assignment probably about a week before, so he called me and
Okay. Now, at this point, what was your impression about your status vis-a-vis Mr. Pugh at that point, after that conversation with your mom?
I was told that I would be like a gopher, go for coffee, go for the phone, go for anything that he needed. I would run little errands and just assist him while he was doing his job.
Okay. Did he give you or say anything to you to make you believe that this was in connection with Channel 2?
He told me that I'll be able to go on jobs with him, but not that we would be at Fox 2. I didn't sign any paperwork with Fox 2.
Okay. At this point, did you ever go to Fox 2, like to see anyone concerning internship or anything like this?
No, sir.
All right, so there was just total contact between you and Mr. Pugh. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes.
All right. Now, let's talk about when he comes to pick you up. Did he come, well, what kind of vehicle did he come over in that night?
It was a dark sedan, a 4-door.
Okay. And do you recall, like, did he pull up in the driveway? Does he park outside? Just walk us through what happened then.
He came over and he parked in the driveway next door to us, and he asked to meet my mom, and she came outside. They stood outside and talked for a while I looked for some things in the house. When I came back out, I was actually looking for a camera because my mother wanted a picture. Charles and I took a picture for her, and then we left.
Okay. Now, when you leave, where do you go?
When we leave, we drive to his assignment, which was the Martin Luther King March down on Woodward. I can't think of the church right now. The church is next to the new Checkers on Woodward. There's a nursing home on the left-hand side. We parked along the side street of the nursing home.
Okay. And after you parked, what happened?
We sat there and we talked. We waited for the cameraman to come. Charles was putting on his makeup, and that's about it to start before
Okay.
the show.
All right.
Before
Did he have you doing anything during that period of time, or you just?
he just had me holding his makeup bag, his other bags. That's about it at that time.
Okay. Now, after that, does Mr. Pugh do something as far as the interview or whatever it was he was doing though?
After that, we get into the car. Charles told me that I did a good job. He started touching me on my thigh, rubbing it, smiling at me, telling me that, you know, I did a really good job handling myself, and we need to, and we were done, I believe.
Okay. Now, you said he was rubbing your thigh. What was going on through your mind when that occurred?
I was like, oh, okay. I don't even quite remember what was going through my mind. It was just like, oh, okay.
All right.
I think that's what, I think I was in a little shock, but that was about it.
Okay. Did you say anything to him about it?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Because I didn't want him to get upset. I didn't want to stop what was happening.
Okay. Now, that touch on the thigh, was it just the thigh area? Is that all that came into contact with?
It was like the thigh that's in the area. He was in the driver's seat, so it was with his right hand. It was just like the knee to thigh area rubbing back and forth.
Okay. Is he saying anything to you while he's doing that?
Besides talking about what just happened, no, he was talking about, you know, I did a good job. Now we're about to, we're about to go to Hart Plaza. We're going to drive down there and meet them. He had a little bit more story to cover, and then we were going to be done for the day.
Okay. Now, do you go down to Hart Plaza?
Yes, we do.
All right. And what happens when you get to Hart Plaza?
I wait in the car, and he runs out to meet the cameraman. I waited in the car for about maybe 20 minutes, and then he came back.
Okay. What happens after he gets back?
After that, he drives me home. He's still touching my leg every now and then, but he drives me home.
Okay. Do you get home?
Yes.
And you get out of the car?
Yes.
Okay. Anything other than what you just described occur that was uncomfortable or unusual?
I mean, besides him, no, just the thigh.
Okay. All right. Now, you go back into the house, I assume, at that point?
Yes.
All right. What's going on through your mind, if anything, at that point?
I'm thinking like, wow, I was really just on a news story. You know, I really don't, I really like it. I don't want to mess this up. I didn't think too much about the thigh rub. I just wanted to let it go, try to move past it.
Okay. Now, is there any other time after that you have contact with Mr. Pugh?
Yes. The next assignment that we did, he came to pick me up, and he told me that we were going to run some errands. We went to Art Van and picked up a desk for him. And we went to his apartment off of Washington Boulevard. And he told me to put it together. He wanted me to put his desk together.
Okay. Now, Washington Boulevard, is that here in the city?
Yes.
All right. City of Detroit.
It's downtown Detroit.
Okay. Now, was there any discussion at that time? Now, you said that was your assignment for the day. Was there a discussion prior to him picking you up as to what was going to be happening?
Yeah, there were text messages. I would reach out to him and say, hey, you know, what's going on? Do I get to work with you today? And we probably text back and forth. He called me that day.
Okay. All right. Now, when this particular assignment occurred, was there anything in your mind about Channel 2 at that point concerning this particular day?
I was hoping that we would, be doing a story, but he told me that, we'll be running errands. So, no, I thought of myself as an intern and an assistant. So, from my standpoint, an assistant does some of the menial things. They do the things that the person doesn't want to do.
Okay. Now, you said that you went and this desk was purchased and taken back to his apartment?
Yes, we both went to Art Van, where he purchased it, and then we drove back to his apartment.
Okay. Was there anybody else in the apartment when you got there?
No.
Okay. Now, what happens once you get back to the apartment?
We get back to the apartment, and I put the desk together in his middle room.
Okay. All right. Now, is there anything that...
You put the desk together in his what?
In his middle room. His apartment was a 2-room apartment. His bedroom was in the back, and he used the second bedroom as a storage, which he was turning into an office at that time.
Now, was there anything unusual going on while you were putting the desk together?
No, not that I can remember. I was focused on putting the desk together. Charles was on his phone, running back and forth, so I wasn't paying too much attention.
Okay. And just from this point forward, when you refer to Mr. Pugh, if you could refer to him as Mr. Pugh, just so the record's clear, okay? All right. So it's fair to say Mr. Pugh's just taking care of his own business while you're doing that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you get the desk together?
Yes, I did.
What happened after you got the desk together?
After I got the desk together, Mr. Pugh came. He said that I did a good job. He asked me if I wanted to see something, if I wanted to see a video, and so I said sure. We watched. He turned on a video of a gentleman sitting on the floor masturbating, and he asked me if I knew who that was, and I said he looks familiar. And he explained to me that it was the Joe Boxer guy. He came to Mr. Pugh's house, and he got him to make the video because he won a bet. They had bet on the American Idol contest that Ruben Studdard or Clay Aiken would have won, and Joe Boxer had lost the bet.
Okay. Now, this, what do you think when this video, well, straight here, what's Mr. Pugh's, emotional stance as he's talking to you about this?
He's standing next to me. He's kind of giddy. He looks a little excited to be showing me the video.
Okay. Now, you were able to see the video?
Yes.
Okay. And while you're watching, is that when this explanation of how it was gotten and all that stuff?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, what happens at this point?
At this point, he notices that I'm starting to get erect, and he asks me if I would like to take care of that, pointing at my penis, and I say sure. And so he starts to put pillows down on the floor around the television, and he tells me to go ahead and lay down and take care of that.
Now, are those his words, take care of that? Is that what he's saying?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do?
I started watching. I laid down, pulled my pants down, and started to masturbate.
Okay. What's Mr. Pugh doing at this point?
At this point, he watches me masturbate a little bit, and then he starts moving around the apartment, and then he comes and he sits next to me, pulls his pants down, and he starts to masturbate with me.
All right. Now, how close is he to you while this thing is going on?
He's sitting on the floor right next to me.
Okay. All right. What happens then?
We masturbate together, watching the Joe Boxer guy masturbate on television. He he starts to masturbate me, and he asked me to, to masturbate him. He asked if I wanted us to do each other, and I told him, well, I just put my hand on his penis and started masturbating him, and we both ejaculated.
Is he saying anything to you during the course while this is ongoing?
No, not that I can remember him saying anything of distinction. There were oohs and ahs. I don't think there was anything of distinction while this was happening.
Okay.
There were oohs and ahs.
All right, now, when this finishes, you said that you both ejaculate, is that correct?
Mhm.
You have to answer yes or no.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What happens at that point?
At that point, he pops up off the floor laughing, and he runs to the bathroom to get a warm towel for us to clean up with. He brings me back a warm towel with some soap on it, and then he goes back into the bathroom.
Okay. Is he saying anything at this point that you can recall?
At this point, he's saying, wow, that was good. Don't tell anybody what happened. I can get in trouble for this, so don't tell anybody.
Now, you said that he went back into the bathroom at that point?
Correct.
Okay, what happened then?
He cleaned himself up, and then he came back out. I put my clothes on, and he put his on. From that moment forward, he looked at me. He looked at me lovingly. He looked at me like he was in awe, or he was just really, really infatuated. He didn't say much after that besides that was good, and smiling in my face, and we left after that.
Okay. All right. And after you left, where did you go?
After we left, I went home.
Okay. Now, you get home, do you get a chance to process what had just occurred?
Yes.
Well, what's going on in your head at that point?
Wow, I can't believe I just did that with Charles Pugh. Wow. Well, you can't get rid of me now, I guess. I'll be good on this internship, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, after this particular incident, is there more contact with Mr. Pugh?
Yes. Mr. Pugh and I, we get together, we get together about a month after. He tells me that there's another assignment that I can go on him with, and which turns out to be a B2K concert. I was a big B2K fan back then, so I was excited to go.
All right, for those of us who don't know what that is, what is...
B2K was a boy group, was a teen boy group back in the 2000s.
Okay. And is this still the summer of 2003 or early autumn?
Yeah, this is early fall. This is about September. I was excited because I thought that he was going to. He told me that we were going to be behind the scenes, so I was excited because I thought it was like an early birthday present or something.
Okay. Now, you're still 14 at this point?
Yes, still 14.
Okay. All right, so how does that, was that contact made by phone or text or both, or how?
It was made by both. We went between text and phone.
Okay. And the time for this concert, does he come, how do you get together with him?
He comes to the house to pick me up.
Okay. If you recall, was your mom there when that happened, or was there any contact with him and your mother, or?
No, there wasn't any contact with him and my mother.
Okay. All right. You get picked up?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I got picked up.
Okay.
And we went to Joe Louis Arena. on the way there, you know, he's talking. We're talking about things, about life, about the concert. He was telling me how.
Objection, Judge, there's no question posed to him. This narrative is unacceptable.
Objection sustained.
Okay. So were you guys talking in the car?
Yes.
What were you talking in the car about?
We were talking about what we were about to do. We were talking about how Ruth Ellis had gotten free tickets to come and meet B2K, and we were going to go cover that. We didn't. That's about it.
Okay. Now, do you get to Joe Louis?
Yes.
Okay. What happens when you get to Joe Louis?
When I get to Joe Louis, Mr. Pugh and I meet the cameraman there. We wait in the lobby with the cameraman and the rest of the people for the VIP to be called. The VIP are called in, and we walk into the VIP with the group from Ruth Ellis, and then I'm holding Mr. Pugh's bags and a few of the cameraman's bags, and while we're inside the VIP area, we wait for the boy group to come out and meet everyone.
Okay. Now you're in there waiting. Do you actually get a chance to meet them?
I didn't meet the group. I got a chance to see the group, but I didn't get to meet them.
All right. Now, how long do you actually stay at this concert?
We leave right after the VIP area.
Okay. So you never actually went to the concert?
Correct.
Okay. Did Mr. Pugh, to the best of your knowledge, did he do kind of a report, or did he work something up for the news station for that concert?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He did a story for that concert.
All right. Now, after, at this point, you left Joe Louis Arena?
Yes.
And when you leave, who do you leave with?
I leave with Mr. Pugh.
Okay. Anybody else?
The cameraman leaves out with us.
Okay. Now, where do you go after Joe Louis Arena?
After Joe Louis Arena, we went to Mr. Pugh's apartment.
Okay. And this apartment is located where?
This apartment is the same one on Washington.
Okay. Now, when you get to the apartment, do you go in?
Yes.
Was anybody else in there?
No one.
All right. Now, what happens when you go into the apartment?
When I get into the apartment with Mr. Pugh, we talked. We talked about the concert. We talked about the B2K boys, and then he asked me if I want to see a video.
Okay. And what did you say?
I said sure.
Okay. At this point, do you have an idea about what the video might be?
I thought it might be another masturbation video.
Okay. And after you said sure, what did Mr. Pugh do, if anything?
He went to the other room, or rather he went around the corner of the hallway because I was in the living room, and he came back with the disc, and he put in a video of that starts off with him on the bed naked.
With who on the bed?
With Mr. Pugh on the bed naked. And then a gentleman with dreads walks in, who, from the looks of it, is just getting out the shower because he's drying himself off with a towel. And Mr. Pugh and the gentleman proceed to have sex.
Okay. And when you say proceed to have sex, what did you see them doing?
I saw Mr. Pugh come forward to the edge of the bed and start to give the gentleman oral sex. And then he flips over and begins to get penetrated by the gentleman.
Okay. So Mr. Pugh is being penetrated by the other person in this
Yes.
video? Okay. And the type of penetration we're talking about is what?
We're talking about anal penetration.
Okay. All right. Now, you're watching this video. Where are you in this apartment when you're watching this video?
We are in the living room
Okay.
when I'm watching this video.
Okay. Now, so you see this act of oral sex first, and then you see the anal penetration on the video. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Does Mr. Pugh say anything to you at that point?
He asked me if I want to do that, pointing at the video.
What-
And I respond, sure.
All right. Now, what happens at this point?
After that, he leads me by my hand to his bedroom in the back. He lays down a couple of towels, and he asked me to sit down. He pulls his pants down, and he starts to rub his penis in front of me and asks me to perform oral sex on me.
And when you heard that, what was it specifically in your mind at that point was he asking you to do?
At that time, he was asking me to have sex with me.
Okay. Now, the oral sex, when he said that, what did that specifically mean to you?
That meant to put his penis in my mouth.
Okay. So after he asked you about that, what did you do or what happened?
I looked at him and I put his penis in my mouth.
When you do that, is he saying anything at all at that point?
Besides normal oohs and ahs, no.
Okay. Now, how long does that last?
That probably lasts maybe 3 minutes. It didn't last very long. I didn't really enjoy it. It was yeah, I didn't really enjoy his penis.
All right. And after that 3 minutes, then what happened?
After that, he asked me to lay back on my back, and he got some lubricant. He put it on his hand and rubbed it against my anus. He rubbed it on his penis. He told me to take some deep breaths, and then he inserted his penis into my anus.
Now, after that happens, if you know, does Mr. Pugh ejaculate while this particular act is going on?
No, he does not ejaculate inside of me. I ejaculate first, and then he comes out of me, and then lays on the bed next to me and asks me to lick his nipples while he masturbates.
Okay. Did you do that?
Yes.
And did he do that?
Yes.
The masturbation part?
He masturbated, and then he ejaculated.
Okay. After that happens, and he's finished, and he's ejaculated,
Yes.
does he say anything to you at that point?
Again, he gets really giddy. He's smiling really hard. And he says, that was really good. He says, that was really effing good. And then he runs to the bathroom to get a warm towel. When he comes back, he says, that was wrong. Don't tell anyone. I can get in really big trouble. Please don't tell anyone. I can get in really big trouble.
All right. Now, what's going on in your head at that point when he's talking to you at this point?
Part of me is thinking, well, why did you want to do it then if you knew that you could get in really big trouble? But the other part is like, okay, okay.
All right. How do you feel about Mr. Pugh at that point?
How did I feel about him?
Yeah.
I still felt like he was a good person to have in my corner for what he was, for who he was, the positions that he had. I was I was like disillusioned from him being a really great guy. he was somebody who I still wanted to learn from, though. So
Okay. All right. Now, after all this is done, does anything else happen in the apartment that night?
that night, no. After that's all done, we probably had something to drink from his kitchen, but then we left.
There's also speculation either he did or didn't. He doesn't.
Mr. Burden,
Cause of speculation.
please speak louder then.
As to whether anything, I don't, thank you, Judge. All right, now, did you leave the apartment at that point?
Yes.
Okay. And during all this going on, was anybody else ever in the apartment?
No.
Okay. Where, at that point you leave, where did you go?
Mr. Pugh took me home.
Okay. Now, when you get home, did you tell anybody about what had happened?
No, I didn't.
All right. Why not?
Well, to start, Mr. Pugh asked me not to. I knew that if I told anyone what was going on, my whole life would stop. I wouldn't be able to be a part of Mosaic. My mom and I were at odds about me being gay, so I knew that a lot of freedom, any freedom that I had, would be gone. I would be in church every Sunday trying to not be gay, and I didn't want that.
Okay. Now, you're 14 still at this point, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you talk about being gay. Had you identified that way as far as your lifestyle and your being at that point?
Yes.
Okay. Had you communicated that to Mr. Pugh?
Yes, we did talk about that.
Okay. Before or after the anal sex and oral sex occurred?
We talked about it before.
Okay. All right, now, your home, does there come, do you continue to have contact with Mr. Pugh?
I have off and on contact.
Okay. All right. After this incident, after the concert, do you ever have another occasion to engage with Mr. Pugh at his apartment?
Yes. We got together on a Saturday. I came over to his apartment. He asked me to clean it for him, which I did. Yes.
Okay. Now, how old are you at this point when this occurs?
At this point, I'm 15.
Okay. And the apartment that you went to clean, was it the same one that...
That was the same one on Washington, yes.
Okay. And while you're there and after you finish cleaning, does anything happen there?
Yeah, he asked if I wanted to do what we did last time.
Okay.
And I told him, sure.
All right. And then after you tell him sure, what happened?
After I told him sure, we went through the same process as last time, where he put a towel on the bed. This time, I don't do oral sex on Mr. Pugh, but I do lay on the bed, and he takes lubricant, puts it on my anal, and then puts it on himself and inserts himself inside.
Okay. This time, were there any videos or anything shown?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Now, what was your understanding at this point of your relationship with Mr. Pugh? I mean, earlier we talked about the internship. Are you still under that impression at this point, or gopher? Are you still under the impression at this point?
Yes, for me, this was a job. For me, this was me working for Mr. Pugh. Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, any other interactions like you've described just now occur after the house cleaning apartment?
After the house cleaning, we had a off period. I didn't see Mr. Pugh for a few months. And we would get together, and he would take me to small plates.
And for the record, Small Plates is what?
Small Plates is a restaurant in the downtown Detroit area.
Okay. And when you went to Small Plates with Mr. Pugh, would there be anybody else with the two of you?
No, it was just the two of us.
Okay. Did you ever go back to his apartment after one of those engagements at Small Plates?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And did you ever go back to the Washington apartment after that?
Yes, he was still at the Washington apartment.
Okay. And when you went back, did anything happen at that point?
Yes. After one of those instances, it wasn't every instance that we would get together or that we went to Small Plates, but the cleaning was about October, so about January we had gotten together. We went to small Plates for dinner.
What year are we talking about? January of?
We're talking about January of 2004.
Okay. And how old were you then?
I was 15 years old.
Okay. And what happened there?
We went back to his apartment on Washington, talked, and he asked if I wanted to go to the room, and I said sure, and I went back to the room with him in order to engage in sexual activity.
And did you engage in sexual activity with him at
Yes,
that point?
we did.
Okay. And what specifically?
Specifically, we had anal intercourse again with him penetrating me.
Okay. Any other incidences of anal intercourse at that Washington apartment that you haven't told us about?
In April of that time, in April of that time, it was after Mr. Pugh had came out. He had picked me up from school.
Okay, now I'm going to stop you for a minute. What do you mean by came out?
After he had came out as being gay to the world,
Okay.
he publicly announced it in April of that year,
Okay, 2004.
2004.
And you're still 15?
I'm still 15, yes.
Okay, what happened?
He picked me up from school and told me that he wanted to take me to a meeting that he was about to go to. And so we went to the city hall, where there was a private meeting with then Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, amongst some of the other LGBT leaders in the city, to talk about one, being the disrespect or the problem that Kwame Kilpatrick had with LGBT people from a statement that he made, but also to talk about the state of the schools and why gay-straight alliances should be permitted to be allowed within the school system.
Okay, and did you actually get to attend the meeting?
Yes, I did.
Okay. How many people were there besides yourself?
Besides myself, on the LGBT community side, there were about 6 other people. And then there was also Mayor Kilpatrick, and about 3 of his staff members.
Okay. Mr. Pugh, was he there?
Yes, Mr. Pugh, yes.
Okay. All right. How did that make you feel being part of that at that point?
It made me feel really good. I felt like this was something that I was hoping to get. This was an experience that I was hoping to get from Mr. Pugh. It's what helped to start me on my decision to be active in the LGBT community as an activist, to sit there and see these people talk about quite passionately about what was going on. It felt right.
Okay. Good. Now, after this meeting's over, what happened?
After the meeting is over, then we go back to Mr. Pugh's apartment on Washington, and we talk about what happened, and then Mr. Pugh leads me to his bedroom by hand, and he tells me to take off my clothes, and we then have sex. We have anal penetrative sex with Mr. Pugh penetrating me.
Okay. A15 still at this point?
I'm still 15, yeah.
Okay. Now, after this particular incident, do you and Mr. Pugh engage in any kind of sexual activities in that Washington apartment?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay. Can you give us about how many times?
Um,
In the Washington apartment?
in the Washington apartment, about 2 more times.
Okay. Now, do you ever, okay, at that point in time, what's your thoughts about Mr. Pugh and your relationship with him at that point?
He's still a mentor. He's still somebody who I'm, looking up to for connections, for information, for guidance in the LGBT lifestyle in Detroit.
Okay. Had you formed any kind of sense or feelings about the sexual activity that was going on with Mr. Pugh? What was your attitude about that as a 15-year-old?
For me, I felt like this is what he required in order for me to be around him. So I either needed to do this or I wouldn't be able to work with him, to hang out with him, to talk.
Now, does there come a time, let me ask you this. When's the last time you have any kind of sexual interaction with Mr. Pugh?
The last time that I have sexual intercourse with Mr. Pugh is when he's at his apartment on Adelaide. This is 2005. His roommate wasn't home. This was after school for me. I went over to his apartment and we talked. And actually, we had sexual intercourse on that day. After we had sexual intercourse in his bedroom, I asked him, "Is this what you do? Do you like to have sex with younger people? Are you having sex with your roommate?"
Now let me ask you this. Why are you asking him these questions at this point?
At this point, I've heard rumors that he does this
Objection,
on
hearsay.
more than one occasion.
Objection, hearsay.
Well, we're not introducing it for the truth of the matter, but for his state of mind and why he is proceeding to ask these questions. These are the things that precipitated the questions in his mind that led to the questions of Mr. Pugh. So we're not, whether those rumors are true or not, that's not what we're here about. But we're offering it to prove, not to prove the matter, the truth of the matter asserted in those rumors.
He can just ask him how he felt. He doesn't have to rely upon rumors, because certainly that would be hearsay if that's what he's relying upon.
Objection, overruled. Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so you do, now and I'm going to ask my question again. Why were you asking him those questions?
I was asking him questions because I heard rumors. I was told.
He can say, objection again. He can say he heard rumors. In terms of what he actually heard, the statements themselves, that's hearsay.
And again, the statements themselves, if I were offering the truth of the matter, but it were not, this is what the motivating factors
He
are.
can say that they're rumors. I'm sorry, go
This
ahead.
is what was going through his head. I've heard these rumors, and so I'm going to overrule you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I heard these rumors that he liked to mess with younger boys, and so at this time I confronted him and I asked, "Is this what you do? Like, am I just another one? Do you like to have sex with younger men?" He got really upset. He got really upset, and he told me no. I was special. he doesn't do this at all. And after that, I didn't hear from him.
After that, what?
After that, I didn't hear from him. Our communication stopped.
Okay. The last sexual experience that you had with Mr. Pugh, how old were you?
I was 16.
Okay. And where did that occur?
That occurred at his apartment on Adelaide.
Okay. Did you have any sexual experiences with Mr. Pugh at that Adelaide apartment prior to your 16th birthday?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you recall the circumstances of, well, how many times? Let me ask you that.
It happened about 6 or 7 times. I would come to Mr. Pugh's apartment after school. We would contact each other through phone. I would ask if we can hang out, if we can talk, and a lot of the times we would sit and have conversations, conversations about what was going on in the world and everything, but most of the time they ended up with us having sexual intercourse.
Okay. So at least one time on the Adelaide Street.
Yes.
And did it engage, was it what you described earlier, the anal intercourse in the manner in which you described earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Now, after you had this discussion with Mr. Pugh that you talked about earlier about, you know, you heard the rumors and that ceased, did you ever have any communications with Mr. Pugh after that?
Not personally. I would see Mr. Pugh at some of Mosaic Youth Theater's events. He still came to support the group.
So, fair to say you'd see him out in the community occasionally?
Correct.
Okay. Now, this all happened 2003, 2004, correct?
Correct.
All right. I guess the question comes then, why didn't you say anything before?
I'm sorry, why didn't you say anything, what?
Before you made the report here in this case?
Well, for multiple reasons. One, I thought I was the only one. I believed Charles. I wanted to believe Charles when he said that I was the only one. I didn't want my mom to be hurt by this. I still didn't want the opportunities that I was being given to be taken away. At that time, I was in the running to be the student assistant music director at Mosaic Youth Theater, so I didn't want that to drop out of, drop away. And after I graduated from high school, I never planned on coming back to Detroit. So I didn't think that this would follow me. I didn't think that this would ever come back up. I didn't think why I came forward. I didn't have evidence that he did it on anyone else. Mr. Pugh and I, we switched phones a lot. So a lot of our conversations, my conversations with him got deleted with those phones when they would go out. So,
Okay.
There was no evidence that he did this with anyone else.
Now, when you say with anyone else, specifically, what are you referring to?
Specifically, I'm referring to that he seduced or tried or had sex with anyone who was underage.
He's just talking about his conclusions, Judge, as to why.
Objections overruled, go ahead.
Okay. That you had no reason, if I just heard you, to believe that he'd engaged with underage individuals.
Right. I had no evidence to say, okay, this is who he is. I didn't have that.
All right. Now, did something change your mind to have you come forward?
Yes. After I read the text messages that he that he sent to the other young man in the civil trial, that showed me evidence that he pursued younger men. But then also there was an interview that he gave there was an interview that he gave around my birthday, and in it he said, this is all a lie. This never happened, and the city of Detroit knows that this never happened. And that really upset me because I know you're lying. You're telling me that what happened between you and I never happened, and so you're not showing any remorse. You're not trying to rectify this in any way. You're running away to a different state. I'm not going to let you do this to any other kids. I'm not going to let you. It became my responsibility to not let this happen to anybody else.
How'd you feel when you saw those quotes?
I felt like when I saw the quotes, I got upset. I felt like he was trying to silence me. I felt like he relied on the shame that I felt about doing this with him in order to keep me quiet.
Well, Texas Judge, he can't rely upon the shame of him. He can't tell what he's relying upon.
He's just giving his impression of... Thank you, Judge. As a result of all that...
As a result of all that, I discussed it with my spouse. I met with a lawyer to talk about what this would mean, how this would impact my life, and I decided to come forward to the police about what happened, just to tell the truth. And whichever way the court happened, that's what happened.
Thank you, Judge.
May I, Your Honor? Cross? Thank you. Mr. Williams, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Miss Burton. I represent Mr. Pugh. I do speak relatively fast, so if I pose a question to you and you don't understand, ask me to repeat it.
No problem.
Because when you respond, I'm going to assume you understand, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, is that the first time that you met Mr. Pugh when you went to Mosaic? Or had you met him on a prior occasion?
The first time that I met Mr. Pugh was at Fox 2 News Theater, Fox 2's news station, with Mosaic Youth Theater, yes.
Okay. And while you were there, you actually introduced yourself. He didn't come up to you, you went up to him. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And the group performed at Fox, correct?
Yes.
And you were inquiring about summer work. You weren't inquiring about an internship, were you?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And so, sir, you never answered any phones at Fox 2, did you?
No, I did not.
You never looked at any documents at Fox 2, did you?
No, I did not.
You never talked to any anchor people when you were at Fox 2, did you?
I spoke with Mr. Charles Pugh.
That day only
Correct.
at Fox 2.
Correct.
Matter of fact, that's the only day that you were at Fox 2.
No.
Okay.
That's not the only day.
Only day. When was the next time that you were there?
The next time I was there was with Mr. Pugh.
When?
We drove, running an errand with him one day. We drove to Fox 2. He left me in the car while he ran through
Okay.
to get things.
You didn't go inside though, did you?
No, I did not.
You never got any coffee for anybody at Fox 2 or for him at Fox 2, did you?
No, I didn't.
And when you talk about a quote-unquote internship, there was never any formal agreement for you to work with him at Fox 2 or anywhere else, was it?
There was a formal agreement between Mr. Pugh, myself, and my mother that I would be working for Charles Pugh
There was
as his intern, as his assistant.
An oral agreement. Did you have anything that was in writing that you'd be working there?
No, I did not have anything in writing that I would be working for Fox 2.
Okay. You didn't have anything in writing that you would be working for Mr. Pugh either, did you?
I had oral agreement. No, nothing in writing.
Okay. And you didn't have a regular pay schedule or anything like that, did you?
No, whenever I would bring up pay, he would tell me, I'll take care of you. You know, we will work that out.
So is that no, sir, that you didn't have a regular paycheck?
No, I did not.
Okay, thank you. So, in terms of testifying today, have you reviewed any documents?
What do you mean?
Did you review any statements, any paperwork before you testified today?
Did I review any statements?
Anything that you might have said in the past?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what did you review?
I reviewed the statement that I had initially given the police.
Okay, and isn't it true that you coming forward, you didn't go to the police department first, did you?
No, I did not.
You went to an attorney, didn't you?
Correct.
Okay, and you knew that there was another case, a civil case that was pending, correct?
Correct.
Now that young man was not underage, was he?
That's not for me to say. I don't know.
Okay, you claim that you were reading information, transcripts, what have you?
Yes.
How did you get a hold of that?
That was in the newspaper.
Okay, so
Online.
so you looked online,
Yeah.
and then you decided, oh, he has a suit going, maybe I can get paid.
No,
Your motivation was never money.
it was never money.
So then why didn't you go to the police first?
Because I need information. I needed to know how this would affect my life. I needed to know what this process would be like.
And the prosecutor's office couldn't tell you that?
I don't know anyone in the prosecutor's office.
Did you know any lawyers at that time?
I know people who know lawyers, yes.
Okay, so you had to go in to somebody that you didn't know to get the information.
Correct.
Okay. Now, you went to the police department, but that wasn't until November of 2015, correct?
Correct.
All right, and so you're making allegations of something that purportedly happened in 2003, 4, and 5 is what you're saying today, correct?
Correct.
But you waited all that time before you actually went to the police department.
I did.
Okay, and would it be fair to say, did you know that the trial was going on in federal court?
I actually went to the lawyers to ask them to make me a witness or to speak to the other lawyer to be a witness in that trial because I did not want it to be, I did not want to be the spectacle. I didn't want to be the one in front, but the lawyers moved a little slower and the trial went a little faster.
Okay, so you were, the answer is you were aware that there was a trial that was going on, correct?
Yes.
All right, and that trial started November 11th, November 9th, 2015.
Correct.
Okay, and then the next couple of days is when you went to the police department.
Correct. After the trial ended is when I went to the police department.
Okay. So were you then aware of the verdict?
Yes, I was.
Were you aware that there was a large award?
If you consider that large.
Okay, and you wanted to get a larger reward yourself or award yourself?
Not at all.
Mr. Williams, have you ever been convicted of a crime involving theft, dishonesty, or false statement within the past 10 years?
No, I have not.
Okay. Now, is it fair to say that you went into the police department, but you also made additional statements? You went more than once. Is that true?
Correct.
All right. And you spoke to an Officer Thompson on one occasion. You recall that?
Can you tell me your first name?
Tatanisha? T-A-T-A-N-I-S-H-A.
If that is the intake person at one of the districts, yes.
Okay, and someone met you there, someone from the LGBT community met you at the precinct, didn't they?
Yes, the LGBT liaison, Danny Woods, I called her for support because I did not have the lawyer who I spoke to was unavailable, and so I called her to come to sit with me, yes.
Okay. The lawyer didn't want to come, didn't he?
No, she was busy. I was actually moving, I think, faster for her. I was moving faster than probably she wanted me to.
Okay. So, in your statement, you indicate that the first encounter, you ended up going to the march, Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Okay. And nothing happened.
Nothing sexually happened. He touched me, yes.
Nothing sexually happened.
Correct.
Okay. And so, what were you wearing that day?
That day I was wearing a brown suit. It was hot. I was excited. I was wearing a brown suit.
So you had on pants?
Yes.
Okay. And there were a lot of people out there. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, there were.
Okay. Cameras and thousands of people for that march.
Yes, there were.
Okay. You were picked up and taken to the march?
Yes.
All right. Your mom was aware of that?
Yes.
All right. And you were dropped back off?
Correct.
Did he have contact, Mr. Pugh have contact with your mom?
No. Not after he dropped, not when he dropped me off.
Okay. You say the next time that you have some contact that you were running errands and
Correct.
picked up a desk
Correct.
from Art Van.
Correct.
Okay. When you picked up the desk, you went back to the apartment on Washington Boulevard.
Yes.
Okay. You watched the video, correct?
Correct.
No penetration, correct?
Correct.
No fellatio, no oral sex, correct?
Correct.
Now, you indicate the next time that you got together was for a B2K concert. Did you ever indicate that to anyone?
The next sexual encounter was after the B2K concert.
Okay. So, you had your mother's permission to go to the B2K concert?
I had my mother's permission to work with Charles Pugh, yes.
Okay. To go to the concert?
That I was there as working with Mr. Pugh.
Okay. So,
Yes, I had her permission to be at the concert working with Mr. Pugh.
okay. And what time did you leave the concert, if you remember?
It was still light out because we had gotten there probably around 5 or 6. We had only stayed for the VIP meet and greet, so it was still light out. I can't give you an exact time.
Okay. So, when you say you got together for the concert, it wasn't to look at the group.
Correct.
It wasn't for them to perform.
Correct. We didn't go there to watch them perform. We went there to cover Ruth Ellis getting VIP tickets for the concert.
Okay. And how long did you stay at the concert?
We left after he got the story.
What
After Mr. Pugh got the story.
What time did you leave?
Again, it was still a little light out. I don't know exactly what time.
Okay. And you're taken home?
No. After that, we go to his apartment.
Besides the cameraman, were there other people that you met there?
That I met.
Other friends of Mr. Pugh, did they arrive?
At the concert,
Yes.
besides the cameraman, not that I can remember.
Okay. And when you were dropped off, was your mom there? From the concert?
I don't remember.
Okay. Then you go on to say there was a meeting which took place in the city county building.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever indicate to someone that there was a city council meeting that you went to?
In the reports, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I believe I did, yes.
Okay. And so, Mr. Pugh wasn't on the city council back in 2004, was he?
No, he wasn't.
Okay. You indicate that there was a meeting with Mayor Kilpatrick and the LGBT community.
Correct.
There were several meetings, weren't there, with that community?
That I'm unaware of. I was at one meeting.
Okay. So now, are we talking about 3 encounters? Or two encounters? We're talking about the picking up the desk, right?
Correct.
Then we're saying it's at the concert.
After the concert, correct.
Okay. And then the next time, did you indicate after that you were at the meeting with Mayor Kilpatrick?
Correct.
Okay. And after that meeting, then the encounters took place at the Adelaide location. Is that fair to say?
After that meeting, 2004, Mr. Pugh was still living on Washington.
Okay. And so, would you say next after that? I'm referring to a statement. And do you recall making a statement to the police on 11/11/2015?
I do.
Okay. And that would have been in the sex crimes unit, correct?
Correct.
You would have been interviewed by a Sergeant Marvin Jones?
Correct.
Okay. And you gave Sergeant Jones a lot of information, didn't you?
We had a conversation, yes.
Okay. And so some things were written down, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you tried to explain what you thought was happening, correct, or had happened?
I explained to him what happened, yes.
Okay. And so how much time, is this in the same year in terms of this meeting and then him moving to the house, the townhouse on Adelaide? It's a short time after that?
The house on Adelaide was later that year.
Okay. The same year of the meeting with the mayor?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Now, you indicated that you continue to have contact with Mr. Pugh even after all these instances where you felt, oh, you know, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, and you're concerned about him as far as his reputation. You continue to have meetings or meet with him, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. So you weren't afraid of him, were you?
I wasn't afraid of Charles Pugh.
Okay.
I was afraid of what would happen. I was afraid of the people that Charles knew. That's what I was afraid of.
Okay. What people were you afraid of that he knew, sir?
On multiple occasions, one of the first stories that Charles told me was about his life, and he told me how he had family, brother and sister, who were police officers.
Okay. You never met those people, though, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay, and so why were you afraid?
Because they were his people. And
did you ever receive any threats from those people?
no, I did not.
And he never threatened you to say that those people would do anything to you, did he?
No, he did not.
So when I asked you were you afraid of him, your answer is no.
My answer is no. I'm not afraid of Mr. Pugh.
Okay. And you were never forced into any of the encounters that you mentioned, were you?
Can you explain what you mean by force?
Well, I mean by force that were you ever physically thrown down?
No, I was not.
What you did voluntarily, didn't you?
I did.
And you were already gay before you met Mr. Pugh, is that
I
correct?
was, yes.
Okay. You had a boyfriend, Mr. Estes, didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
Well, no, not before I met Mr. Pugh. Estes wasn't until 17. That wasn't until 17.
Age 17, okay. But
I had other little boyfriends. Yeah, I was gay. I had fun. I was gay, and I'm not going to deny that. That's what drew me to Mr. Pugh. He was gay. He was successful. He was black from Detroit.
did you know that when you went to Fox 2?
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that the minute that I looked at him on the TV screen.
Okay.
I said, there goes a gay black man doing something. That would be great if I could get to know him.
Okay. Now, you are an actor, though, right? You're an actor.
At the time that I had met Mr. Pugh, I was a singer.
You were a singer.
Yes.
Okay, but Mosaic, also, they act, don't they?
Yes.
All right, many of the members, you have performances, correct?
Yes.
All right. So, you weren't trying to be a journalist, were you?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I was trying to write. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be, and journalism was in the hat.
So did you ever write anything for Mr. Pugh?
No, I didn't. And he never asked to see anything. No.
Okay. And he never asked you for anything in return in any of these encounters, did he?
He asked to have sex, yes.
Did he ask for anything else?
For me to be quiet and not tell anyone, yes.
Okay. All right. Now, sir, let's deal with this. You would go home and you would see your mom, right?
Yes.
But you never shared any information with her until the story came out, or the trial with respect to Mr.
I didn't share
Sanford.
any information with her until I had decided that this was something that I was going to do.
Okay.
Because I had kept this from her for 13 years for a reason. I did not want her to be hurt. I didn't want her to feel like she didn't do her job. So, yeah.
Okay. Your mother knew you were gay?
My mother had suspicions. Her and I went back and forth during that time. She was very heavy in the church, and so we had a lot of arguments about my sexuality. At that time, she didn't think that a kid can know that they were gay, so she felt like I struggled with my with what was going on.
Okay. So you indicated that you had some encounters on Adelaide at the townhouse, correct?
Correct.
All right. Let me back up for one moment. I believe you said that when you returned from the concert, there was anal sex, but there was also fellatio? You also
Yes.
had oral sex?
Yes.
Okay. And so you never mentioned that in any of the statements that you made, did you?
Not that I can recall. I don't know.
You just made that up today, didn't you?
No.
And you made 3 statements, right? You had one when you went into the police department, correct?
Correct.
Then you were interviewed after that, spoke to... one moment, Your Honor. Okay, good, thanks. Let me send my tough sheet. Okay, the second time would have been when you spoke to Sergeant Marvin Jones in sex crimes, is that correct?
Yes. I believe so, yes.
Okay, and then the third time would have been when you spoke to Sergeant Ortiz
Correct.
in December, on December 7th of 2015, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, and so that was 3 occasions you had an opportunity to indicate that after the concert there was fellatio, and you did not, correct?
I don't recall.
You reviewed these statements today, didn't you?
No.
Which one did you review? I thought you said you looked at something this morning.
No, I did not say I looked at it this morning.
When did you-
asked if I had seen them before coming here. Yes, I reviewed the first statement that I made a few days ago.
A few days ago. Only one statement you reviewed?
Yeah, yes, that's the only one that I reviewed.
Okay. But you don't deny making the other ones?
No, I don't deny making it.
Okay,
They were made.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
I took off work. They were made.
One moment, Your Honor. Now, you continued to have interaction with Mr. Pugh Until what year?
Until, and by interaction you mean sexual interaction,
That's fair. Okay, sexual interaction. Until when?
until 2005.
So, how many times were you at the Adelaide location?
Probably about 6 times, 5 or 6.
And are you indicating that those were all sexual encounters?
No, not all of them were sexual encounters.
How many of those?
In 2005, about 5 or 3.
About 3?
Yeah.
Okay. One moment, Judge. So, you indicated that you were picked up from school. Was that when Mr. Pugh was living on Adelaide?
Yes.
Okay. Were you a part of Mosaic throughout your time in high school?
I was a member of Mosaic from 9th grade until the middle of 12th grade.
And you contacted Mr. Pugh and requested some money for your senior dues, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And so when did you graduate?
I graduated in 2006, June of 2006.
Okay. And so you were still having contact with him in 2006, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. You were having contact with him after that as well?
Yes.
2007?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we spoke through Facebook, through text messages. When I would reach out to him, he would respond back, trying to have sex with me, telling me how much he missed
There's
me.
no question posed to you.
Oh, okay.
One moment, Your Honor. Sir, I believe on one occasion, in one of your statements, you indicated that the address on Adelaide was 713 or something like that, 713 Adelaide.
Right. He had the upper townhouse on the row towards the middle of the street on the left-hand side.
Okay. Your Honor. Your Honor, I'd like to, since there was some disagreement in terms of the address of the location, I have a certified copy of a deed for Adelaide that I'd like to move for admission as far as defendant's proposed Exhibit A.
Any objection?
Well, I don't have any objection. I mean, I'm willing to stipulate to whatever the information that she wants off that. But she can admit if she wants. I don't care.
I'm assuming that you're saying that the disagreement is the information says 73 Adelaide, and you just asked about 713 Adelaide?
Correct. So there's a deed, though, with respect to 73 Adelaide. And so he has no objection, so is it admitted?
So, yes, so admit it.
Thank you.
May I mark it?
I'm
I'd like to mark it.
May I
Oh,
mark it,
yes.
please?
Yeah, 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Now, Mr. Williams, would it be fair to say, sir, on 9/28, you said your birth date was 9/28/88?
Yes.
Okay. Would it be fair to say at 9/28/04 you were 16?
Yes.
8/20, you were 16 from 9/28/04 to 8/27/05?
Yes.
And 8/28/05 to 8/27/06 you were 17.
8/28/05.
I'm sorry, 9/28.
9/28.
9/28/05
From 9/28/05 to
9/27/06.
9/27/06.
You were
Yes.
17.
Yes.
So, when you indicated that there were some things that were going on Adelaide, you were 16, weren't you?
I was 15.
Okay. Your Honor, the exhibit, defendant's exhibit A, I may approach the witness. Sir, I'm handing you a copy of a deed for 73 Adelaide. Can you just look at that? And you don't dispute that it was a townhouse, do you?
No, I do not.
Okay. And sir, can you indicate for the record, what is the date of that deed?
The date recorded in the Wayne County Register.
No, the date of the transfer.
Oh, up here. It says dated August 31st, 2005.
And so in 2005, how old were you?
I was 16.
So all the stuff you said that happened at Adelaide, you were 16. You were actually 2005 at 8/31.
I was 15.
You were 16.
I was 16, 2005, 8/31. I would have turned 16 my birthday, 2004. Okay.
You would have turned 16.
Yeah.
And you were almost 17. 9/28/05.
Okay.
All right, and the deed is dated August 31st, 2005. Right?
That's what I read, yes.
Okay. And since you said the encounter with Mayor Young was just before that.
No, the encounter with Mayor Kilpatrick was 2004, April of 2004, after he had publicly came out.
Okay.
With the encounter in 2004.
I believe when I asked you a question, you said that it was right before that in terms of before he moved to the Adelaide location.
I believe it was, yes. But I know that the encounter with Kwame Kilpatrick was 2004.
Okay. But anything that you say happened at Adelaide, you were 16 or 17.
I apologize for my misperception.
So were you not told when you talked to an attorney that you had to make sure you said that you were 14 or 15 when these encounters took place?
No, I was not told that.
Because you couldn't prosecute if you were 16.
I was not told that.
But now you sit here today indicating in 9/28/04 you were, in fact, 16.
2002, in 2002 I was 14. In 2003 I was 15. In 2004 I was 16.
I don't have anything further, Your Honor.
Let me start with the statements. You went to the Detroit Police Department to speak with people, correct?
Correct.
How much, well, let me ask you this, did you know that your statement and your interaction with them was being video recorded at the time?
No, I did not.
Okay. how much time were you there when you spoke with the police? When you
2 or 3 hours.
Okay. After you spoke to them, did they then sit with you and do a question-answer thing?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Now, as far as the incidences, you indicated that there were the incident, excuse me, the incident involving the desk
Yes.
and the actions that occurred then, that
I'm
happened
sorry,
on
the incident involving the what?
the putting together the
Oh,
desk.
the desk.
Correct. That happened at the Washington address, correct?
Correct.
The incident after the concert, that happened at the
Washington.
Washington address. You indicated that there were additional sexual interactions involving anal penetration at the Washington address, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated there were how many? Other than the ones, other than the ones,
Objection. Ask and answer. He's rehashing information. We've already gone through this.
Objection overruled.
thank you. So, those two that we talked about, there were, you said there were other
Yes.
actions there at the Washington address. How many involved anal penetration?
I can remember 2.
Okay. Then you indicated that there was a time at the Adelaide address, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. The first time that it occurred at the Adelaide address, how old were you?
16.
Okay, fair enough. I have no further questions, Judge.
Nor do I.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch. Make that final.